So Topps Chrome recently released. I think one of the things about Topps Chrome that I find the most interesting is that it should be a product that's part of a larger campaign for Topps, in my opinion. I think I've talked about this on previous videos where I think that Topps needs to reduce the amount of Topps flagship product that they come out with, and they need to start coming out with uh, uh, more singular releases where there is like for I mean I think I said this when I was talking about the actual new Topps 2023 design. I think that they should do Series 1 and Series 2, where Series 1 comes out at the beginning of the season. It has all the players um who are going to be on that roster, who are definitely starting the year on the roster, maybe, and then the players from last season who didn't make it into what will be this concept Series 2. And then Series 2 at the end of the season, which will include all the players that weren't in Series 1 that were rookies that did make the deadline for Series 2. I think Topps Chrome you could fit in there. And I know they do Topps Chrome and Topps Chrome Update, sort of the same thing. I wish they would just come out with one version of it. And then I wish that they would combine some of the other products. I think Topps Finest would sort of fall into that category of a singular product that I would want. But in the past, I've talked about Gypsy Queen and Allen and Ginter. I think that they could figure out a way to combine those products. I think Heritage is maybe a borderline one that I think you could do a singular release, but at the sort of same token, I think it should be a later on in the year type of situation where later on in the year they can include all the rookies in Topps Heritage, because I think that's one of the reasons why they do sort of the Heritage and Heritage High Number. They come out with Heritage at the beginning of the year and then Heritage High Number later on in the year, which Heritage High Number has, I think, like it's the same thing. It's basically the up top update of Heritage, because it's just they continue the checklist and they add more players to it. And this tweet I thought was very interesting. It was basically breaking down the numbers and the increases of how many hobby boxes. I looked into trying to figure out where exactly he was getting the numbers from. I'm guessing it just has to be from there must be some sort of parallel that's hobby exclusive and there's odds. So that's where I would imagine he's getting the numbers from. I'm not 100% sure. So I think that, this data, it makes sense, but like I said, I think the data is coming from a specific parallel in the odds that the parallel is getting pulled from a pack. That's where I would imagine this data is coming from. So 2018, 48K hobby boxes, 2019. I'm not actually going to go through all of them just because, you can read the numbers here, but it's a 20% increase from last year, which it would be almost double the amount from 2018 in terms of how many hobby boxes there are for, Topps Chrome. It's not really surprising. I think this is it's sort of the type of thing where, I don't necessarily wish that there were less hobby boxes. Like, because in my theory, honestly, that would just mean that there would be more hobby boxes, which would then increase the supply that there are cards within the product. I think I saw something that I think I saw Slapstocks made a post about it and said that there are more veteran autos on this checklist than there were in previous years as well. So, I mean, that could be one of the reasons why we're seeing so many more hobby boxes. Like maybe they're getting more autographs for this product. I don't know where or how they can make Topps Chrome more popular. I think if I'm ranking baseball cards, the I think the Topps Chrome like autograph should probably be in the conversation for top autograph card you want to get if you're looking for a rookie. I think if you're ranking regular base cards, Bowman Chrome's first. I think then there's a conversation for the Topps Chrome versus the regular flagship. I don't know, like I think it's an interesting thing with baseball because it's flip-flopped, to be completely honest. It's flip-flopped between Topps Chrome and the regular flagship, between which one is the more popular card over the past few years. Bowman Chrome has kind of always been it has always sort of been number one. But I think Topps Chrome, I think I have a tweet out now, or I'm going to be putting it out, basically just talking about like how I think Topps needs to figure out a way to brand the releases of these big products a little bit better. They do I think one thing that they do really well for the flagship release is they do the rip party, which I think is really great. They obviously can't really do that with Topps Chrome, to be honest, because there's probably less of the product itself. Uh, but I like Topps Chrome. Topps Finest is another one that I think is a kind of a nostalgic uh, product that I really like for me, to be completely honest. But I think with Topps Chrome, I think Topps also this year has done a little bit better marketing than most years. Now that could obviously be Fanatics taking over. I'm not 100% sure if Fanatics. I would imagine they probably brought people in to do the marketing, or at least they combined some of the marketing groups. I would imagine. I can't imagine that Topps or Fanatics buys Topps and they don't try and bring in any of their marketing, but I think that they probably brought in a few people. So the marketing you're seeing with Topps this year, I think, has gotten a lot better. I think that you know, honestly, in the past, we've seen like one tweet about something or like one Instagram post. And I have seen multiple kind of posts hyping this release up. I do think that they need to figure out a way to hype up the release even more, to be completely honest. Like, I think some sort of, not the rip party, obviously, but something like that where I don't know, like, or they do some sort of release during All-Star weekend. Like, I feel like they need to integrate sort of into baseball a little bit more, where they are doing some of the videos where I know some of the marketing people are doing videos with baseball players and MLB pros. Like, they are doing those videos, but I think at the same time they need to figure out a way to integrate more into the cards, because I think when it comes to sports cards, in my opinion, and this I could be off base with this, but when people talk about sports cards, for the most part, people are talking about baseball cards, or they think about baseball cards first. Like, sure, if you're getting into basketball or football, maybe it is a little bit different. But I think when people say sports cards, for the most part, people are really looking at it and saying, well, that so baseball cards. And same with when you think of baseball, I feel like people associate that with cards pretty often, to be completely honest. And it feels like it's almost one of the sports that is more not necessarily reliant. I don't think that's the word I'm looking for, but it's more tied to cards, and the sport are kind of tied together pretty well, I think. And it's probably a sport where it's the most tied together. So I I think in the future, I would like to see I would like to see each product have a sort of a different type of marketing to it. Like, I almost think that Topps should do their marketing similar to like how other companies do like different seasons, like where they change their profile picture, or they change the look. Like, I think football or sports teams do this as well. Like throughout the year, like they'll change kind of their whole sort of marketing. They're not marketing. They'll change sort of their whole social media presence based on sort of what's going on that during that time period. I think it would be a good idea if Topps, you know, if somehow, they could chromify or whatever, I don't think that's a word, but if they chromify their social media platforms and hyped up this Topps Chrome release a little bit more, like I would like to see months of hype behind the Topps Chrome release rather than just maybe a week or two, which when you're releasing so many products, it is probably pretty hard to do something like that, to be honest. But at the same time, like this is where maybe less product coming out and strategy around more strategy around the release of the products, and not just like you release whatever product and it comes out, and then and then the next week there's another product comes out, and that's sort of what it almost has been like. But I would like to see Topps Chrome and maybe Flagship and maybe Topps Finest and maybe Topps Heritage. I would like them to figure out what their top maybe 5 to 6 products are, and just brand their social media or brand it a little bit differently, because I just think it should be more important for they should try and or it could be like how WWE does their pay-per-views. I think if somehow they could get someone from social at WWE to either advise them or consult with them, I think that that would be a good example. Because if you look at WWE, they have a pay-per-view every month. It's kind of similar to how Topps has cards coming out every month. So I think you could look at it that way and maybe figure out a way to release products in a way that you're hyping up the product instead of sort of just doing release after release after release.